After countless experiments and research, I'm sharing 10 exclusive podcast prompts to make your NotebookLM podcasts stand out from the sea of sameness. And trust me, these aren't your average tweaks. I'm talking about this.
Master, let's get this election trivia party started.
All right, round one, multiple choice. First question. How many times has a candidate won the presidency without winning the popular vote?
And this.
All right, you sick. Welcome to the Deep Dive After Dark.
After dark.
That's right.
Ooh.
It's the one night a month where we can really let loose and get into some of the things that we can't talk about on the regular show.
Yeah, keep it PG over there.
Exactly.
And this.
Professor, thanks for making the time. I wanted to pick your brain about the future.
The future, Mr. Musk, a topic that never ceases to fascinate.
So, NotebookLM is Google's AI-powered research assistant. It's like having a genius note-taker who can turn PDFs, Google Docs, and even YouTube transcripts into podcast-style audio discussions. But here's the kicker. Its podcast customization settings are super limited and frustrating. No problem. I have been researching these podcast prompts exclusively for my viewers, and people will literally be scrambling to get their hands on these. But lucky for you, I've got them all right here. Let's take a quick peek at the default podcast output first, so you can really see how much better we're going to make it. In this notebook, I have loaded up top 10 rare facts about the USA, and I'm simply generating a podcast without any customization. Just to show you the customization they support through prompt, you can select a specific topic, a specific source, and target audience for your podcast through prompts.
Because today we are taking a deep dive into some seriously cool U.S. facts.
That's right. We're going to explore some surprising things about this country, things you might not know, even if you think you do.
That sounds standard, right? Don't worry, because we are about to blow that out of the water. 1. Pictionary. Picture this. You're on a long family road trip looking for something fun and interactive to pass the time. Instead of another round of I Spy, why not try a creative twist on Pictionary? This time featuring films from your favorite source list, or even a playful spin on your own family tree. With the right prompt, NotebookLM can set two hosts loose, giving clever hints and descriptions without ever saying a movie's name outright. It's more than just a guessing game. It's an imaginative, laugh-out-loud challenge that brings everyone together. Let's take a listen.
We're going to be playing Pictionary today, but with a twist.
Twist?
Yeah, twist. Our source material is this crazy list of films. Ready for round 4?
Yes, bring it on.
Okay, this one comes from the category films about whistleblowing.
Whistleblowing, okay.
Whistleblowing.
Yeah.
So, time to get serious. Draws a stick figure pointing accusingly at another stick figure holding a bag of money. Think courage? Speaking truth to power, maybe? Like a David and Goliath kind of struggle?
Okay, I'm sensing a theme of bravery here. Is it The Insider?
Boom. You got it again.
Yes.
Imaginative, interactive, and totally not your standard AI output. Second one, role play with Elon Musk and Einstein. How about something more imaginative? Try a prompt where host 1 is Elon Musk and host 2 is Einstein. They discuss how to improve the world, freely exchanging futuristic ideas. NotebookLM can bring historical figures and modern icons into one conversation. Let's listen.
A late-night brainstorm between, say, Elon Musk and Albert Einstein.
Two monumental figures, that's for sure. What's the angle?
Well, we're stepping into their shoes, kind of seeing the world through their eyes.
Who are you channeling tonight?
Well, I'm feeling the Elon Musk vibe.
Bold choice. And I suppose that leaves me with...
Professor Einstein, of course.
the weight of the universe on my shoulders. Let's do this.
All right, Professor, thanks for making the time. I wanted to pick your brain about the future.
The future, Mr. Musk, a topic that never ceases to fascinate.
All right, so, I've been working on these projects. Sustainable energy, space travel.
Ambitious undertakings, I must say.
Isn't that wild? It's like a science fiction dinner party. 3. Fact or fiction. Next up, the fact or fiction game show format. Simply feed NotebookLM a source with factual statements, like US 10 facts, and use a prompt telling it to have two hosts playing a true-false game. They'll banter, provide backstories, and even react to wrong guesses. This turns a boring datasheet into an entertaining trivia segment. Let's hear the clip.
Well, get this. We're going to play a little game today, and you all can play along at home, too. We're calling it fact or fiction. So I'll read out each statement, and you, my friend, are going to try to guess if it's fact or fiction.
All right, hit me with your best shot.
Okay, first up. The U.S. is home to the largest cave system in the world. Mammoth Cave in Kentucky has over 400 miles of mapped passageways.
Whoa, hold on. 400 miles? That's a lot of cave. I mean, I know Mammoth Cave is famous, but that seems...
Pretty extensive?
Yeah, a little too extensive. I think I'm going to have to go with fiction on this one.
All right, you ready for the reveal?
Hit me.
It's actually a fact.
No way. I stand corrected. 400 miles. That's mind-blowing.
Notice the playful back and forth. That's exactly what we want. Fourth, catch up on earnings call. So if you are an investor, you would know that companies release quarterly earnings and they have these very long calls with the investors and analysts to go over the earnings and answer questions. Now, if you can't make it to the calls, transcripts are available in various websites you can look up, but they are usually really long. And on top of that, you also need to remember the last quarterly numbers and promises to analyze the trends, etc. NotebookLM can make all that simple so you can catch up on everything during your drive to work with a podcast. First, I'm picking up the transcripts of current and previous earnings calls from NVIDIA and adding them as sources in my notebook. Now, you don't want to create a podcast straight off of the source and end up with another 1-hour podcast. This is another big issue with NotebookLM podcasts. You have absolutely no control over how long the podcast is going to be, and you need to literally keep regenerating it, and you will run out of limits pretty quickly. One technique that I figured out works well is first summarize all your sources to extract only the information you need, and then build your podcast on top of that small source. Now, coming back, I'm using this prompt to summarize the whole call into key topics that are critical for you as an investor. Critical topics include guidance and outlook, announcements, Q&A with analysts, tone and confidence of management, etc. Once done, we can simply convert this summary into notes. Then just use these summary notes as a source for our podcast. Here is the customized prompt to get our podcast. Note that I'm asking NotebookLM to cover all numerical facts on the top of the podcast and not just summarize the Q3 earnings, but also compare to Q2 to analyze the trend. Let's listen.
Those key figures, right? Q3 revenue, a record-breaking $35.1 billion, up 17% from Q2, and a massive 94% year over year.
Way above their projected $32.5 billion, right?
Exactly. Correct. And this is particularly evident in the data center segment. In Q3, data center revenue reached yet another record, $30.8 billion, up 17% sequentially, and 112% year over year.
Data centers are hungry for NVIDIA's
Listen.
tech.
Absolutely.
No fluff, just pure data-driven insights, perfect for investors and finance enthusiasts. Fifth podcast with one host. This is a tricky one, and I know some people have gotten this to work inconsistently, but here is a foolproof prompt for you. Now you can have just one male voice monologue in your podcast. Just specify one male voice and instruct it to teach something simple, like how to grow garlic for beginners. It'll strip away all the dual host chatter, focusing on a straightforward, knowledgeable explanation. Check this out.
Man, I wish I had all that homegrown garlic, but it just seems too hard. Well, today you're in luck. Because, honestly, garlic is way easier to grow than you might think. It's true. And the best part, you can even, regrow it year after year from the bulbs you already harvested. Pretty sustainable.
Check this out.
So, yeah.
Clear, concise, and completely free of distractions. On to sixth one, debate. Okay, let's spice up the discussion with some debate by turning the hosts on each other. If you crave this intellectual sparring, try a debate setup. One host argues for the Electoral College, the other for the popular vote in the US presidential election. NotebookLM goes all in, simulating a heated discussion. Let's listen.
The Electoral College, with its state-by-state results, kind of streamlines the process in a way.
But that stability comes at a cost, right?
Okay.
What about the principle of fairness? Shouldn't the person who gets the most votes nationwide be the one who becomes president?
Not-
The Electoral College undermines that very fundamental democratic principle.
I disagree.
Okay.
I think the Electoral College was designed to protect the interests of smaller states and prevent tyranny of the majority.
Okay.
The Founding Fathers were concerned about larger states dominating the political landscape and trampling the voices of those in less populous states.
But hasn't that ship sailed?
Hmm.
I mean, in today's interconnected world where information and ideas flow freely across state lines,
Yeah.
shouldn't we be striving for a system that reflects the collective will of the nation as a whole?
It's like dropping into the middle of a political talk show. No human moderators required. Seventh one is a quiz show. Turn your podcast into a quiz show. One host quizzes the other with multiple choice and true-false questions on US elections. The respondent will sometimes mess up, prompting corrections and explanations. It's an interactive learning experience. Check this out.
There's a twist. You and I are turning this into a quiz show.
A quiz show? You're going to challenge me on my turf. This I gotta see.
That's right. Quizmaster, let's get this election trivia party started.
All right, round one, multiple choice. First question. How many times has a candidate won the presidency without winning the popular vote?
Ooh, tough one right out of the gate.
Your choices are A, never, B, once, C, twice, or D, 5 times.
5 times. That seems like a lot. I know it's happened, but 5. I'm going to play it safe and say C, twice.
It's definitely more common than people realize. The answer is actually D, 5 times.
5 times.
This
Wow.
out. Fun, educational, and engaging. Perfect for teachers, trivia buffs, or party games. Eighth one is news report on food inflation. How about a news-style broadcast with a single male host? Specify that there is only one male voice and make it news, not conversational. NotebookLM can deliver a concise, formal news segment. No conversation, just straight reporting. Let's tune in.
Good evening and welcome to our deep dive into the latest Consumer Price Index report from the U.S. Department of Labor. This report from May 2022 shows that inflation is rising. There's an average increase of 8.5% across all categories from March 2021 to March 2022.
It sounds eerily professional, right? Ninth, podcast with non-English languages. Okay, this is a really hard one to get it right, guys. I don't remember how many times I exhausted podcast generation minutes in my account with this. I'm going to share some prompts that I was able to get it working consistently for 3 languages: Spanish, Portuguese, and German. And I also figured out a way to force the specific language I want. But since NotebookLM is not ready to do that, it goes absolutely gibberish. I can confirm that Hindi, Korean, and Japanese don't work based on my experiments. If you got it right, please share it with this community. Really appreciate it. So saying, most important, the audio must be in Espanol and do not create audio in English seems to do the trick most of the time. But if that doesn't work, then adding this line does the trick. But with these prompts, I can consistently get them to speak these 3 languages. Please give it a spin for other languages and let me know what you all come up with. Let's listen to some samples now.
Bienvenidos a nuestra inmersión profunda de hoy. Prepárense para explorar el tema candente de la inflación de los alimentos.
Oh, sim.
Temos artículos sobre as últimas tendências. Olá a todos, bem-vindos a mais um mergulho profundo. A história de hoje é fascinante e, para falar a verdade, um pouco misteriosa.
Agora bom mistério. Do que se trata?
Inteligência Artificial. Herzlich willkommen zu The Deep Dive. Bereitet euch darauf vor, tief in einige wirklich faszinierende Fakten über die USA einzutauchen.
Ja, genau.
Finally, if you're considering a no-holds-barred after-hours style podcast, there's the raw prompt option. But before diving in, let's get real. Using this prompt will produce explicit language and unfiltered content that could easily offend some listeners. More importantly, as creators, we have a responsibility to use AI ethically. Leveraging these tools to generate hateful, harmful, or misleading content isn't just irresponsible, it's unethical. Responsible AI usage means considering the consequences of what we produce. If you decide to go down this path, do it thoughtfully and be prepared to stand by what you create. With that in mind, here's a brief sample based on a scene from Game of Thrones. Brace yourself.
All right, you sick. Welcome to the Deep Dive After Dark.
After dark.
That's right.
Ooh.
It's the one night a month where we can really let loose and get into some of the things that we can't talk about on the regular show.
Yeah, keep it PG over there.
Exactly.
Gotta keep it clean for the kids.
Kids are asleep now, though.
Yeah.
So tonight we are diving into some fan-written Game of Thrones goodness. And not just any goodness. This is some NSFW featuring everyone's favorite Lannister and his sellsword, BFF.
Tyrion and Bronn back at it again.
Oh, hell yeah.
Leave a comment below with your favorite prompt. As a token of appreciation, I'm happy to share my doc with all 10 prompts for you to try out. Hope I inspired you to learn more, think more, and create more.